What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and this is John. We are a fantasy football podcast bringing the best fantasy football advice to you, the consumer. John, what is up?
I mean, it's absolutely the best in the world. We've never been wrong about anything.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm excited. We've got one of the best games of the week. On right now, very loudly. Just throwing up the Seahawks Rams game on the side here so I can peek at it while we do this. Now I'm really excited for this week. We've got some big games going on. Let's hit the start sets though.
Yes, we got our starts, must sits this week. But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that little bell icon so you get notified when we go live, when we launch a new video. Also, don't forget to join our Discord, Fantasy Football Discord. We got a ton of cool people in there talking fantasy football. The link is in the description. John, hit him with your first start of the week.
The first one?
Yes, sir.
Best one, and one I never thought I'd be on the team of. I am starting Daniel Jones against Dallas this week.
Sheesh.
And if you know me, I am not a Daniel Jones believer, but hey, let me just hit you with this. The guy's had 250 passing yards at all 4 games. The guy's also scored 2+ touchdowns. Some in the right, some through the air, some of them just running it in, as well as running for over 150 yards so far this season. I think Daniel Jones going in a divisional matchup against the Dallas Cowboys this week is just going to lead them to force the ball downfield. And we're going to see Daniel Jones continue to pop off. Currently quarterback 7 on the year. So I think that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback on the week. And I feel weird saying that out loud.
Yes, that is quite strange. However, with that rushing upside he's got, he's shown it. He could do it. All right. My start of the week, and it feels weird as well, because he's had a down year, but I think this is a great time for him to bounce back over in England. Cheerio. Ryan Tannehill, baby, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have allowed an average of 21.4 points to the quarterback. Love it. Also, they have allowed the 3rd most passing yards. All right. That's cool and all. Right. We like that, of course. But not only that, A.J. Brown, he was a full participant in practice today or yesterday. He's getting him back. They're going to London, right? It's a London game, right?
It is.
And, so they're going to have a beautiful matchup going up against those Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, no, it's not. I'm sorry. No, it's not. The Jets and Atlanta Falcons are the.
You're right. Okay. We play Jacksonville and Atlanta and London next week.
But either way, they're playing them. It should be a great game. With the whole Urban Meyer thing, man, I don't know. It's going to be big. But honestly, at this point, it's a must-win for the Tennessee Titans. They got to get their ship right, and this is the week to do it. Ryan Tannehill is going to be a quarterback 1 this week.
I like that. About time, too. Moving on to the running backs, I'm going to tell you guys, Leonard Fournette going up against my Miami Dolphins this week is going to be an absolute stud. Miami's currently ranked 30th in rushing yards and rushing points allowed in fantasy football. Our rushing defense is absolutely what would you say? Not too good.
Poop.
No, we don't need to use those words. We're adults here. So
shit. Caca.
Yeah.
Dookie.
So we saw last week Ronald Jones is slowly leaving the backfield more and more. Last week, Leonard Fournette was able to get 20 carries opposed to Ronald Jones's 6, which is really just showing that Rojo is just no.
Rojo.
So continue to expect Leonard Fournette to be able to rush for possibly another 100 yards against Miami, which would almost double his stat total on the season right now. Last week, he was able to rush for 90 up against the Patriots. So I expect Leonard Fournette to have an amazing day and possibly start helping my fantasy teams where I've been rostering both him and Rojo.
Let's go. I like it. Risky. Very risky, but I like it.
All these are risky today, bud.
True. Very true. My next guy he's not playing in London. He's playing against the Tennessee Titans, though. James Robinson.
Man.
I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it sweet. Similarly to the fact that it's kind of a must-win for the Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars have got to do something, especially with this whole Urban Meyer thing coming out, right? On top of that whole fiasco if Urban doesn't win this week, or if it's a blowout loss or something like that, it's not going to be pretty there in Jacksonville. On top of that, Carlos Hyde is finally starting to leave and not be a pest. James Robinson's backfield. He carried the ball 18 times last week. Also, the Tennessee Titans are not very good against the run. They're middle of the pack. So I think James Robinson, very elite talent, should have a great week. Should be a focal point of that offense. Keep the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands by running the ball.
Keep the ball out of his hands. Hey, that's a way to win the game.
It is.
It possibly is. So I'm going to go to the receivers. And again, another name that I haven't been very hot on this season, but you got to play him when the matchups are good and everything's going right for him. I'm going to say Jacoby Myers for the New England Patriots. Mac Jones's number one receiving target and someone who's been getting 22 targets over the last 2 games. I mean, realistically, you've got to play the guy in there. He's getting targeted like a monster. But Mike, what's the most important position, or the position in fantasy football that gets you the most points? It's the quarterback, right? Well, How about a receiver that threw the ball twice last week and had 100% completion percentage? That's the guy you want in your lineup.
Yes, sir.
I think Jacoby Myers has the opportunity going up against Houston this week to be one of the receivers that gets 2 touchdowns on the season, or 2 touchdowns on the week. I think he's going to have an absolute bloodbath of a game, putting up over 100 yards, and that he's going to be someone that we're going to be talking about. And if you don't already have him, and if he's sitting on a waiver for you, even if you don't want to play him this week, go check. If he is, pick him up, throw him on a bench spot, because he's a name that kind of gets dropped and added back and forth as the season goes along.
True. Very true. Very true. I like that. My wide receiver start of the week is playing in London. Cheerio. Corey Davis going up against the Atlanta Falcons in the bottom third of the league against the wide receiver. And Zach Wilson kind of showed a little something last week. I think this is a great opportunity for him to string a couple games together, a couple solid games. On top of that, Corey Davis and him have a little bit of a connection. I don't know if you saw that that deep touchdown they had where he kind of waved him down and bombed it. I mean, it was kind of nice little improvisation. Not only that, he's getting solid targets week in and week out. So, and it's a great matchup. So I never thought I'd say I like a Jet, but hey, we're here. It's 2021.
You liked Jamison Crowder for a few weeks last year. I'm going to give you credit for that.
I do like Jamison Crowder, yes. And honestly, he's sneaky, by the way. He's coming back. So if he's on your waiver wire, go pick him up, stash him on your bench. Side note.
Was Elijah Moore cleared yet?
I don't know. But I like Jameson.
All right. Let's keep trying to follow along the targets that are just going everywhere. I'm going to be throwing in Mike Gesicki for week 5, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Miami Dolphins. And again, this is for me is going to be on the fact that I'm expecting our receivers to not play very well this week. And I think we're going to see the safety valve that is Mike Gesicki for Jacoby Brissett come in. Since Jacoby Brissett has come in and become that Miami Dolphins number 1 quarterback, taking out the week that he actually took over against the Colts, Mike Gesicki has been the team's number 1 target. He's gotten 20 targets in the past 2 weeks, and the guy looks very, very good with only 1 touchdown. Put up over 140 yards. I think that we can expect to see him put up another 60 plus with touchdown upside, just making him a great fantasy tight end start.
I like it. Always, and that Buccaneers defense secondary is very porous, so could definitely see it. As long as Jacoby has like a couple seconds, he should be able to get the ball to him. Sorry if it's getting loud. There's a helicopter about to fly over my head. All right, let's get over to my tight end of the week, baby. I like these London guys. Cheerio, Kyle Pitts. Listen, the Jets have a pretty solid secondary. However, Matt Ryan's got to get the ball to somebody. Okay. Calvin Ridley's out. He's not playing. He's not traveling. He's got personal issues, so he is out of the game. Kyle Pitts has been getting consistent targets. He's had, I think, 2 weeks with 9 targets. These are going to hit. He has not been an absolute complete bust, as far as a target or his tight end position comes. Last week, he got 9 points. Week 3 was his worst, but he'll be all right this week. He'll get those targets. He might even see his first double-digit target game. with
Ooh.
Calvin Ridley out. So I like Kyle Pitts this week a lot.
All right. I'm going to say, yeah, absolutely. The man, he's far from a bust.
No,
He just hasn't been producing.
right. Once
So
they connect, he's getting the targets. Once they start connecting, he'll be golden.
I'd have to agree there with you. Someone who isn't connecting, my quarterback sit of the week is actually going to be Big Ben, not connecting with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year whatsoever.
He can barely run.
Yeah, I have a tree on the side of my house that actually moves faster than. So, honestly, I think he should have retired this offseason. He's just not the Big Ben that we love to see, and I think he's dragging the Steelers down there with him. This weekend, he's going to be going up against the Denver Broncos, who have only been allowing 12.5 points to the opposing quarterback, not giving them much opportunity there. And then Ben himself has only been averaging 18.5 points. That includes some games throwing for over 250 yards and getting 2 touchdowns, but with 0 rushing upside, it's really just going to hurt. You got a better opportunity of him having negative yards this week than positive.
Yeah, definitely. I do not like Big Ben this week, next week, the week after, ever, pretty much, unless every starting quarterback in the league gets hurt, or Pittsburgh becomes like the only NFL team. My sit of the week is Baker Mayfield going up against the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles. It should be a home game for the Chargers this time. It is my sister-in-law. Say hello. You're gonna be weird. So Baker Mayfield, quarterback 24 in the year. The Cleveland Browns. Okay, if I'm Stefanski, I want to keep the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands, right? So you're gonna run the ball a ton. Baker's not throwing it a ton. He threw it the most last week, and coincidentally, it was his worst week fantasy-wise. Los Angeles Chargers have also been very good against quarterback, only allowing an average of 14 points per game. So I'm taking the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hands. He is my sit of the week.
I think that's a smart idea. Take it out of his hands, fantasy-wise, and take it out of his hands when it comes to the game on Sunday. My running back sit of the week is someone that should already be sitting on your benches. That's going to be Miles Sanders. Throughout the season, he's only been averaging about 60 to 65% of the snap share, while only getting 10 or more carries in 2 of the first 2 games. Since then, he's only had 15 total touches, including pass catches, in the last 2 weeks. And Carolina's defense is very, very sneakily good. So I'm actually going to be completely sitting Miles Sanders with more interest in doing a weak flex on Kenneth Gainwell than flexing in Miles Sanders this week. I'm staying away from the Eagles as much as possible. Same,
sir. Well, I will say this. We have something in common, or our running backs do, for the sits. Both of their names are Miles. Myles Gaskin is my sit of the week. Listen, Malcolm Brown out-touched him last week, got more touches. Salvon Ahmed was on the field entirely too much. Okay. Plus, they're going up against the damn Buccaneers defensive line and linebacking core. Front 7 is going to demolish the damn Dolphins, unfortunately. Myles Gaskin, I don't trust you, especially this week. You're on my bench.
Fair enough. I'm going to be playing against, I'm going to be sitting a player that I have been propping up since week 1 after watching the game. Sit Brandon Cooks. Do not play this week. He's going to be the only receiver that is a viable option for Davis Mills this week, which means that the New England Patriots are going to have no problem covering him up and just making sure that he's taken away as an option for that quarterback. I love Brandon Cooks, but this week I wouldn't be surprised if the guy gets 10 targets with only 2 catches for 40 yards. Don't take the shot on him. Find some other options and move on to your next questions.
Yep, there you go. Odell Beckham is my wide receiver sit of the week. Similar situation. You know, he came off, I mean, not similar, but he had a very hot start, or a good start, you know, coming off the ACL injury in week 3. But unfortunately, like I said, I don't trust Baker. I'm not going to trust Odell. And even though he's getting, you know, the targets and he's on the field, I don't trust him this week. And I really don't trust him at all. That's why we stayed away from him. drafting. If you do have him, I want to wait a few weeks, but I'm not starting him this week for sure.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. I think he's going to, if Baker's busting, I would assume that the receivers he's throwing to aren't going to do too well either. I'm going to follow along there with you. My tight end sit of the week, not the sexiest one, but it's going to be Jonnu Smith. Been looking at my waivers in a lot of my fantasy groups, and I see a lot of people still trying to pick up Jonnu Smith, and some of them actually dropping Hunter Henry for him, which made no sense to me. But Jonnu Smith is definitely the number 2 tight end on that team, possibly the number 3 receiving option there. He has been someone that's been getting a good share of targets the past 2 weeks, going for 11 in total, 5 in 1 week and 6 in the other, but hasn't been getting yards and was lucky enough to get into the end zone this Sunday. That actually made his fantasy day relevant. So don't fall for the trap. Go play Dawson Knox. Go play one of the other streamable tight ends and just drop Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, I get it. I understand. I almost picked up Hunter Henry and played him this week, actually, but because I feel like honestly, man, I feel there. I don't think you get. I think it's gonna be random, as to which one gets the targets. And I don't want to take that risk. So let's end it off. My tight end sit of the week, and if you listened to us before the draft season, you wouldn't have drafted him anyways. He's coming off of a high of 7 targets.
Ooh.
So maybe everybody's like, oh, but he's going up against a team who's only allowed 7.5 points per week to the tight end. And this guy is so touchdown dependent. It's ridiculous. Robert Tonyan. I'm sorry. I'm sitting you. Jesse Bates should be coming back for the Bengals. And it's just, I think it's going to be a Devontae Adams week. I think it's going to be a very nice Devontae Adams week. Like I said, Robert Tonyan is just way too touchdown dependent, like most tight ends. But this is, like I said, this is the first week he got, over 4 targets. That's ridiculous. Robert Tonyan, who finishes at tight end 3 last year, should be getting more. He should at least be getting 4 to 5 targets a game. This is his first game over 4. So,
yeah,
Robert Tonyan, you're no more.
Shouldn't have been drafted. Outside of week 2 has not seen a week with more than 10 receiving yards, even though he's been getting targeted 3 to 4 times a game.
I'm pissed, dude. I'm so pissed at myself because I drafted him in one league, one of my 14 leagues. Okay. And I told myself, you know what? I'll draft him just in case for diversify,
Yeah, diversify your investments, of course.
Right. Yeah, that was so stupid. I shouldn't have done it. I'm like, why didn't I just listen to myself? Why didn't I listen to you? Why didn't I listen to me? It is what it is, though. But
you're talking about a guy that literally has about 60% of his points. I'm sorry, 40% of his points have come from one play.
Yep. Touchdown.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous. But I mean, last year was, 11 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. I think he had one of the highest touchdown percentages in the league.
Last season by week 5, he had 5 touchdowns already.
Yeah. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is our must starts, must sits. Sorry, it's not the best production. I'm out here. You can kind of see the flag behind me.
I'm in a damn studio.
I'm in Colorado, baby.
Oh,
I wish the mountains are over that way. Maybe one of my other shows, maybe like the live stream, I'll have mountains in the background or something like that. That'd be cool.
Oh,
we don't get mountains in Florida.
We have dumps.
We do have landfills, yes. They're called landfills.
They're called dumps.
No, they're called landfills. Trust me. When we moved out of Orlando, we were looking for a quote unquote dump. Could not find it. It was 5 miles away from our house. We ended up we Googled closest dump. Couldn't find one. We traveled all over Orlando, and then I don't know how we found it, but they said, "Oh yeah, the landfill's over this way." So we Googled landfill, and it popped right up. So if you ever need to find a dump, Google landfill.
There you go. Coagulism.
Cool. Yeah, there we go. Good enunciation, John.
Only stuttered a little bit. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for this episode. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel, hitting that like button, as well as, telling all your friends about us because we're that funny, we're that good, and you like our start sits. Don't forget about the Discord link, or the Discord. That link is in the bio for you guys to join, become a part of the group, and get all your start sit questions answered, especially as we're moving closer towards week 8, which is going to be your fantasy trade deadline. So make sure you guys are making whatever roster changes you need and sending those trade offers out.
Yep. All right, guys, we will see you later. Have a great day. We love you.